Hello and welcome to the News Hijack with me, Jack. And in today's episode of the News Hijack, we're talking about football. In a seismic move for European football, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United and Tottenham are among 12 clubs who have agreed to join a new European Super League. They will be joining AC Milan, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Juventus and Real Madrid. The European Super League said the founding clubs had agreed to establish a new midweek competition with teams continuing to compete in their respective national leagues. Even Boris Johnson has quipped in condemning it along with the Premier League and UEFA, which is funny because he usually flip-flops on just about every decision. Which is actually even more interesting because Philippe Falop is in contention to be the new Tottenham Hotspur manager. That was just a little joke right there. I'm going to use one of my least favourite phrases and we're going to unpack this situation. Firstly, there will be midweek games. That's where they want to fit these matches in. Where? I mean, how? In God's name, in the mother of God, are you going to fit in more football matches? If you're playing in Europe, which all of these teams are already, just about, then you already play at the weekend, then midweek, as well as domestic cup games like the FA Cup, the League Cup in England, as well as international matches on top of that if you're an international player. So where the heck are these midweek games going to fit? Also, if you have 15 teams competing in this European Super League, then I presume they play each other twice, home and away. That's an extra 30 games a season. They won't be able to compete in that and all the other things that they're playing in with a full team. The players are going to get injured playing that much and travelling. Surely it's impossible. It's mental. So mental, you wonder where the critical thinking even is. Who's behind the critical thinking that went into this whole plan? I think I might have an idea.
Okay then. We hold the world ransom for $100 billion.
Now, this is nothing to do with the players or the manager or the coaching staff of these clubs. In fact, it's got nothing to do with anyone who's actually playing football. This is purely on the owners of the clubs. The players and the managers, you know, the people who are actually doing the football, they can't say how shite this is, but I'm sure as hell they know that this is bollocks. Even the idea for the league is shit in and of itself, right? The European Super League is a league, there's no knockout, with no relegation. So there's no teams coming into it, there's no teams going out of it, which is a bit like the American MLS, which as we all know is shit. And I wonder where the idea came from. Of course, the greedy fucking owners. One of these greedy fucking owners is known as Stan Crooked Kroenke, the owner of Arsenal, an American businessman who has bloody ruined my beloved Arsenal by funneling money out of the club to pay for his new $1 billion LA Rams stadium, the evil moustache-wearing cunt. I'm calm, just don't get me started.
This is the most ambitious stadium ever constructed. Designed like no other and covering almost 300,000 square metres, the venue is partly set below ground to avoid the LAX flight path.
Money, 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 must be funny in the rich man's world.
And also, this European Super League could not have come at a worse time in history. The middle of a pandemic. That just shows you how little of a shit they give about you, the fans. You're asking fans to tune in, pay more subscriptions or buy tickets to support their team in the middle of a pandemic where people are struggling to survive, where they've lost their jobs, just so that these greedy can try and boost their profit margins a little bit more. I mean, where's the humanity in that? They were in talks in October involving Wall Street bank JP Morgan over a new £4.6 billion competition that would replace the Champions League. There you go, follow the money. This is American money, funding a fuckwit league that no one wants to try and replace the Champions League, which has been running successfully for many years. Clubs, football clubs, used to be run by the fans, for the fans. Now they're owned by rich billionaire, self-serving, profit-driven fuckwits who've removed the soul from the game, Americanised the entire thing, sold the rights to the highest bidders, throw a few crumbs of live games for terrestrial TV. Does anyone else not feel like they're being over by the clubs right now? When I went to see Arsenal play a couple of years ago at the stadium, I saw more tourists than fans, and I know it's the same at other clubs. One newspaper said, "This project is an attempt to reshape European football into an NBA-like tournament in which every match is an event and the sport is the means rather than the end. A huge match every night, players who are paid tens of millions per season, extortionate tickets and audiences of billions of people. It's the furthest thing from the European idea of football and of sport." Meanwhile, us lot at home, who want to watch every match of our beloved football team that they play on TV, we have to shell out for 2 expensive subscriptions. In the UK, you have Sky and BT, and they're a minimum of 25 quid a month each. And now Amazon Prime is trying to muscle in on that, and it'll only be a matter of time before you have to get 3 subscriptions just to watch every match that your team plays in. But I do have a solution for this. If the Premier League, who sells the rights to the Premier League, to BT and Sky, if we just tell BT and Sky to off, right? The Premier League can make its own streaming platform, just like the Premier League of Netflix, let's say, as put forward by Simon Jordan, who said this.
I think they've got to become their own broadcaster, set up their own platform, become a VOD, a video on demand broadcaster, and be able to remove the price parameters that people are resisting now with the traditional broadcasters. People are churning off Sky, churning off BT because they don't want to pay 75, 80 quid a month. They don't think it's justified. If you brought in something like a Netflix version of football, got 100 million subscribers around the world paying £9 a month, you'd have no churn because no one would resist that price point. You'd bring in 11 billion every year rather than 2.7 billion or 8.1 billion every 3 years, and you'd build a model that would have enormous revenue, sustainability, income models, and capital
and
growth.
reach. Unbelievable reach.
So that's BT and Sky in one move, and football is now affordable to watch again. It's for the everyman. Then we just have to sort out ticket prices, and I have an idea for that. If you want me to go even further, what we should do is what they've done in Germany, where the clubs are fan owned. We should be able to buy back our football club as they were before, and this whole scenario will never fucking happen again. Because what we basically have at the moment is a corporate takeover of our sport. This has no backing. Nobody wants this. Nobody cares for this. This is American-driven money trying to buy the game that they would love to get their hands on. World governing body FIFA has previously said it would not recognise such a competition, and any players involved would be denied the chance to play at the World Cup. So what players are even going to agree to participate in this bullshit league? The World Cup is the pinnacle of a football player's career. They're not going to risk that for some shitty European league where they might make a bit of extra cash. If you're in it for the money, to China. If I was a manager and I was forced to play in this, I'd play the youth players, the under 23s, and be done with it so I can concentrate on the real competitions. Even some of the young talents wouldn't be able to play in this, or wouldn't want to play in this, if it would ruin their chances of going to the World Cup. The ESL, European Super League, has sent a letter to FIFA President and UEFA boss issuing notice of legal proceedings in European courts designed to block any sanctions the 2 governing bodies may try to enforce over the formation of the European Super League. In a statement, the European Super League said, going forward, the founding clubs look forward to holding discussions with UEFA and FIFA to work together in partnership to deliver the best outcomes for the new league and for football as a whole. Yeah, fucking right. And it's being done and forced through by cronyism, because they know that nobody wants this. So they're getting lawyers involved in preparation to make sure that it can't be blocked. Brilliant. Football was created by the poor man, for the poor man. It's the everyman sport, and always should be. And this is just symbolic of the takeover of rich business interests monopolising the beautiful game, commodifying the pie and beer, the banners and the turnstiles, with tourists and corporate, empty, soulless, profit-driven drivel. Don't get me wrong, I don't blame any of the managers or the players at these clubs or the staff. I blame the that own these clubs. They don't give a fuck about football. They're businessmen. They don't care about you. They care about what's in your wallet. They don't care about the history of a club. They care about their profit margin and how many shirts they can sell. They don't care about you. So, if they force this through and it goes ahead, we'll boycott it. We ain't watching some sham, money-making, greedy fuckwit of a league with all the pomp and temerity of an American NBA game. There is such a thing as dignity, and you owners have got a lot of fucking making up to do to win that back.